How are you doing?
Very good. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm doing better and better. Now that everything is back to normal, I can do my sports. I'm back to some of
Yeah,
my
nice.
mindset.
So did you do boxing then?
So boxing is pretty new to me, but I'm into like always trying different sports as a game. So when I wake up in
Mm.
the morning, I always go even for kizumba or capoeira or everything that I can find
Ah,
on
nice.
the internet. And then I go to fitness or basketball or whatever. I'm investing myself. And this period, I'm doing it as a challenge for myself. It's more about mixed martial arts all together. I like the
Yeah, nice.
mindset and the discipline, so I'm investing myself there.
Yeah, very good. So where are you right now? You're in Germany.
Now, right now, I'm in Tunisia, and then I'm going
Ah,
to Bali.
nice. Ah, you'll be quite close then. I'm surprised you're allowed to travel, to be honest.
So basically, in Tunisia, we have nothing like that has to do with COVID. It's like it's ended for now. I think more than 2 months. Nobody is wearing a mask. Everything is
Excellent.
open, and there is no any new cases. Like everything is back to normal here.
Oh, really? Yeah, we had the same. Well, I mean, Sydney is almost the same. They're just a bit worried about Melbourne, but nobody's been wearing masks so far. It's kind of a new thing down in Melbourne. They started now for the first time. They've never done it actually until now. So
When I was in
fingers crossed.
Germany, it was something else. Like I was living, and there was consciousness about COVID, and there were
Yeah, yeah.
But here, I'm telling you, since 2 months, there is nothing. Like even not
Amazing.
any new cases of COVID. It's like it's never existed.
Very good.
So
So
since I
what they've
came
done here is they've kept people from leaving the country. So you can't go anywhere because they have to let you back in. So they're
wow,
like, it's too dangerous out there. Let's everybody just stay here. And then yeah.
there
So
is
do you
no
speak French as
problem.
well?
We have like to do some tests, and like there is a regulatory confinement for some countries, but more than that,
All right.
even
Oh,
in
nice.
Germany, if you go now, you can go, but you need 2 weeks of confinement.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that sounds
Only the
amazing.
US that got, I think, pretty much banned from all around the world now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, rightfully so. I mean, I just saw, I watched some late night show just before this, and
Yeah.
apparently there's Jimmy Fallon or something like that. So I think one of the baseball teams is basically out because of it. You're like, including the coaches and everything. So
And so
that's,
many
yeah,
also now you see in basketball they're doing a bubble and everyone is getting tested like immensely. I don't know what's going around there. I don't know if it has to
yeah.
do even with genetics or with how many
I,
false tests are
I think,
declared or I'm not understanding nothing about that and I put it behind me. I renounce
yeah, good for
understanding
you.
the fact.
Yeah, good for you. It's good. Yeah,
And
might
how
as well.
so
So are you staying in Tunisia for a while then?
I'm
In
just saying
Bali and then
for a
back to
couple of
Tunisia?
I'm freelancing. Basically, I was working within a gaming blockchain company.
Mm.
Then I quit it and I started freelancing, which was pretty much the best for me. I could work from my bed or whatever wherever I wanted
Yeah,
in the
nice.
world. And I preferred
Yeah,
always to work on different stuff at the same time. That's
yeah.
my how my brain patterns work. So I invested myself there, then came back to Tunisia since I didn't come back for now 3 years, just enjoying sometimes family times, friends time that I didn't see for so
Yeah,
long, and then going back to nomading my life. Also,
yeah,
having some
very good.
public visibility around travel policies
Yeah,
would be nice.
yeah. Are you gonna go surf in Bali?
Exactly. That's what I want to do, like surf, work, meditate, and I don't
Very good.
worry anymore about big cities or cities. I just want to refuge myself for a while.
Oh, very good. I quite like a big city, to be honest. I quite like I like a busy city.
I was five
Uh,
years in Berlin, and yeah, it took a lot of my energy, I would say.
okay, okay. So
I need
you're gonna
some
be
space
moving to
away.
the countryside at some stage. Yeah.
Not now. I think I'm going back to big cities, like big cities when later, at the later stages of my life. But until now,
Mm.
I'm building some stuff. I'm building capital, and I don't need to be there. So I have time
Yeah.
to try and fail more, and that's the best time. Like even at until 35, 40, you still have time, like a margin of failure that I'm enjoying
True.
it.
True. I'm getting closer. Like no more failures soon. No, no. 32. I've got 3 years apparently.
No, I told you until 40, and even
Until 40.
40
Okay.
is
Easy.
quite cheerful. And how have you been doing like this last period? How the confinement has been to you in this last period? What did you do?
It was super chill here. So I wasn't supposed to be in Sydney actually. So to make a short story long,
Mm.
I moved from Sydney to London in November for work, and I still had the job here. So there was going to be some back and forth. But anyway, I found myself here on a work trip in March, and then they closed all the borders because I'm a permanent resident. The border closures apply to me as well. And so I've been here for a while, and I just decided with the rest of the company that I would just stay here for a year at least, and just not try to go back and just stay here for a while. And Sydney was super chill. So everybody freaked out for a bit. Everybody freaked out for about a month. They closed the beach. They closed everything. They closed the gyms. They closed everything. And now for I don't know, maybe 2 months or so, everything's kind of open. So you can go to the beach, you can go surfing. The gyms are open again. Everyone can go everywhere. It's the restrictions are pretty
Are
like
off.
soft. So yeah, it's pretty good now. It's almost as back to normal
And
with
what
some
you've been
weird things.
working in with which company now, or what are you doing exactly?
So I work for a biomedical company. We build neural implants. So the one implant we build is this. We're almost commercial in Europe, and we just got commercial approval in Australia as well. It's a spinal cord implant for chronic pain. So it works for a specific type of like nerve pain, basically. And
And
so I did my
it
PhD
suppresses
with
the
these guys.
pain, or what did it does?
Yeah, like a certain type of pain. Yeah, so it's basically, um, if I say in like a simple way, so some people have this propensity to, when they have a pain condition, their body kind of learns that pain is what should happen, and then they stay in this pain state, and then their body has kind of rewired itself, and it can't get out of that pain state, and there's no problem, right? There's no injury, there's no nothing. And when you stimulate the spinal cord, it kind of gets rid of this aspect entirely. It doesn't get rid of anything else. If you have arthritis, can't
Exactly, I
happen.
know, I know exactly what you mean. So I studied quite a bit about it. Like it was like Dan Ariely, which was a behavioral economist, but also into psychology, was doing some tests when he was burned at 90% of his body. He was
Oh
testing
wow.
the pain with bandages. So like the pain would be faster if you take it right off, or if you take it slowly with those like really cool strap, like really hot tight straps.
Yeah.
And he wanted to see how the brain works, and like short and intense pain is always felt better by the body or accepted than the one, like as you said, prolonged, that you get always into
Yeah.
your nerve. Because I think it's
Yeah.
a way the brain trick us just to protect us. That I don't want
Yeah.
to
And there's
feel
like
that.
there's a whole bunch of things, right? So there's the fact that once you have pain a lot, you start to think differently as well. And then you have that whole mental aspect, and you kind of just, it's like a fear avoidance, it's called. So you like constantly think, oh my God, if I stand up, I'm gonna be in pain. So then you don't, stuff like that. And the other thing is that's how we learn, right? So when you learn a new skill, your neurons start to like grow and reinforce the good thing. It's done through repetition. So if you're constantly in pain, then your body learns that that's just the normal thing it should be now, and so it facilitates this pain signal, which it shouldn't do. Yeah. So it's like yeah, I guess a misconstruction from our nervous system to some degree, I guess.
I
One of the
actually tried
drawbacks at
the
least. Yeah.
I was quite a fan, and I am working quite a bit with gamification of processes, and it's basically rewiring your brain and just
Yeah.
changing your view of the world in order to make it more fun, like and enjoyable. And I
Okay. Yeah.
realized, like, when you start this learning patterns and it cycles down, exactly your whole shift and focus and view around the world like entirely
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, big time. So they have one of the best things that you can do if you have chronic pain is to go and have one session of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Right? It's like half an hour and it'll change your life, which is crazy. And so they try to use VR now
Yeah,
for this kind of stuff, right? So like to distract you from it, or to make you do movements that you would otherwise kind of be afraid of. And that's the new thing that a lot of people are looking into, how to like treat or help with chronic pain by using like these distraction mechanisms, basically, right? So the more distracted you are, the less you'll focus on your pain, and the more you'll stop like this spiral of focusing on it. And yeah,
Have you ever
it's
heard
and
about an app which is called Pain Squad?
no,
Pain Squad was an
no,
example of
take some
gamification.
notes.
Yeah, but I'll send it to you later. Pain
Yeah,
Squad was an app developed for like concert patients, but kids that were diagnosed with cancers, and they needed to report pain a lot, and they needed to take their medicines. And for kids, it was quite like a boring process to do, and they couldn't do that until they created this app where basically the kid has to join a police pain squad, and he earns
nice.
badges and points, and he needs to report, and he graduates, and he becomes part of the team, and he defeats this pain. And they enhanced, I
That's
think, by
awesome.
more by 70% they changed their behavior, but everyone was reporting 3 times a day and taking their medicines and everything. And that's what
That's
I'm
actually
interested,
awesome. Yeah.
is harnessing this power that we have of game elements, not only game, but to rewire the brain of the world. Of course, there is some bad examples out of it now, like China, social, like the social ladder that they're creating over everyone. Of course, it's a bad one because it's gonna induce, government induces everything, every behavior that he wants, and it can be like not promoting individuality or creativity or so many aspects of life. So now,
I don't know. I don't know enough about this. What's the gamification part? Are they? You mean like you get like a ranking system and it pushes you to try to get to the next rank? Is that what you mean?
so basically, they're doing is like you know, the credit system that you get now and everything. So you get a score based on your social action, a score based on your
Okay.
credit, a score based on
Yeah. Okay.
how you pay your bills and things like that.
Yeah.
And then you, dependently on your score, you get access to more privileges or more things from the government, or
Mm.
you get striped down for some privileges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're trying to do that like as a big social game, but over all their population. They've been
Yeah. Oh, that's
developing that
mad.
since 2013, actually. It's
No, I
crazy.
haven't heard about this. I need to. Yeah, I need to look into this. It's like yeah, yeah. And I have no doubt that it works. Like it's like you say, it's super powerful. It's like this weird reward. Like this stuff definitely works for me, like big time. Like
Me too.
give me like a goal with like some points, I'll do anything.
That's how our brain works basically. Like if
Yeah,
you give them an epic meaning or a competition, or you earn even like on Reddit that a small avatar or level 1, or on LinkedIn you
yeah,
get that all-star level. It's present everywhere. There is
yeah,
big companies using it, but so many people are failing to understand the mindset behind it, or how to cure like really boring or big problems. For example, there is like also a social example. It was done actually in London, I think. They had like an escalator and they have the stairs in one station, and basically you had the stairs, nobody could take the stairs, and they wanted to increase, for health wise, the number of people that took the stairs instead of the
mm.
escalator. And what they did, they replaced the stairs with notes of a piano, so when you go up you can play music. And they lost more than 60% also of the people, increased, everyone was taking the stairs and enjoying himself.
I love it. That's awesome. That's really cool. So you just walk up a C scale.
Exactly.
Very good. Oh yeah, excellent. Yeah, I would
bouncing
totally, I would fall for that too.
Bouncing from that, how did you get into the music and Citizen of the World Music, and how did this all starts? Put me a bit in the bath, because me, I'm a big fan also. Like since I was, I think, 15 or 16, I was focused on that name. I love that concept of Citizen of the World. I hope one day
Yeah,
they would create a passport and some entity
that'd be
like that.
sick. Yeah, it'd be sick. Ah, the whole music story. It's a long. I've basically been playing music forever, so which is basically what everybody always says. So I started playing the saxophone when I was 9, and it's like some, you know, like the little wooden flute. Super good. Definitely did not get me laid at the time. And I was 10,
Exactly.
so it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I played the saxophone for a while, and then I got into a ska punk band as a good teenager, you know,
Yeah, nice.
with my Barry saxophone. It was good. And that's where I started singing a bit. I did the harmonies as well. I was one of my good friends who was writing the songs. And then I started traveling for, when I started uni, I went on exchange to Canada for a year. And I started writing my own songs. And the saxophone is a bit boring by yourself. So my dad had given me his old guitar in the Beatles book, and he said, I'm going to teach you 3 chords, and the rest you can learn yourself." I was like, "That's a bit lazy, but all right." And so And so that's all I had. So I bought a cheap, like $100 guitar in Canada. And then I started just learning how to play songs and started writing my own songs as well. And there was this time when I was traveling a lot. And this is where the name comes in, right? So the first songs that I wrote were all done in different cities or in different countries with like different, like with the like the experience imbued into that song. So the other thing that always struck me is, so this doesn't sound crazy, won't sound crazy to you because you're so international anyway. But so I was born in Germany but moved to Switzerland. So my parents speak German, but we moved to the French-speaking part of Switzerland when I was 6. And so for me that was normal because in Switzerland everybody is from somewhere else anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you have French, you have Spanish, Portuguese, like everyone's there anyway. So like nobody is just Swiss. That's not really a thing. But then you go overseas and they ask you where you're from, and you have all my, like, I had a lot of British friends, and you're like, so where are you from? And I'm like, well, I'm from Switzerland, but I'm German. And they're like, I don't get it. What do you mean? I'm like, well, I was born in Germany, but I was brought
I
up in, so
moved
it's like,
so
so
fast to Switzerland.
yeah.
I identify myself in both.
It's just not that difficult. So then that's kind of where this comes from as well. I've never had a very strong national identity. And it's never really been something that, like, because of that, right? Every time people ask you, I'd be like, well, I'm from Switzerland because that's what I know best. That's where all my friends are. But then like, but you have a German passport. That doesn't make sense. I'm like, does it matter though? Because it doesn't, like, so what, right? So this is kind of where it all came from, which I then later found out is actually called being a third culture kid, I think, right?
Mm.
So I didn't know this until way later. So those are basically the two things that caused the name. It's just a lack of patriotic roots, and the fact that I was like, the whole inspiration at the start came from like traveling and being in
Me too.
different
Like
places.
I have no problem with, like, I love actually going to a new land, discovering the tradition, the culture, the music, everything behind it. But that entitlement to a land is what, like, in general, all over all the world, like, that's what
Mm.
disturbs me, like, more or less.
It's weird, and I still don't really get it. So I still, it's still something that I never, and sometimes I actually wish I did. You know, sometimes it's like I had this great my flatmate in London is a bit of a mad dog. So so neither one of us are baptized, as far as I'm aware. And so it's suddenly on the Sunday morning we had breakfast together, we were listening to some music, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna go to church now, do you want to come? I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? This is not like, I didn't know you. Okay.
This is
He was
not a
like, yeah,
thing
I
that
just,
I do.
no, but it's not a thing that he does either, right? I'm like,
Just
what's
trying.
happening? Yeah, exactly. And so he said I had this thought the other day, and he said, I don't understand what faith is. And I'm thinking that if I go to church long enough and I just take it in, maybe I will understand what it means. So we went to St. Paul's Cathedral and we watched Evensong, which was amazing. It was a great performance, right? It was beautiful. We got out of it and we said, I still understand faith, but let's try
But I
again
had a
next week.
great
See what
show at
happens.
least.
Exactly. So I think the same thing applies for all that, like belonging to a country. I just don't get it. Like, it's just, it feels like you almost have to then abide by everything that the country does. And it's like, it's just
I feel,
not
I
really
don't
a
know,
thing.
I feel it's more like nowadays it's getting less and less, or so, like, I would say with statistics, less because we have internet, we travel more, and costs of travel are decreasing, and you can see, even open YouTube or Google Earth and see what's happening at the end of the other world. So the information is passing, but not fast enough. It's just like, I would say it would, for younger generation, because they gaming or they call each other on Skype, or use like me and you Zoom. The
Mm.
the barriers are breaking down, but I think it's more the older generation and the institutions that are there that are trying to protect somehow of what they think is
Yeah.
their true heritage.
It's true, but it's still the first question that anybody asks you, independently of the generation. If you meet somebody new, they will never ask you like, "What do you do?" They will always ask you first, like, "Where you're from?"
You're
And
totally right.
it's like,
What's your name? Where do you come from?
yeah, it doesn't. Why does it matter to you? Like, it will literally tell you nothing about me, right? There are so many questions that will tell you so much more about me than asking me where I'm from.
exactly.
At
There.
most, it'll explain my accent. That's it.
Uh, uh, have you heard about Make Big Talk?
No.
Make Big Talk is a woman she was actually in Berlin, like I think 10 years ago, and she got bored from like this kind of interaction. Every time she goes, how are you from? What do you do in life? The same script
Yeah.
that you get. So she
Yeah.
developed a card game, which was basically open-end question about self-love or growth,
Mm.
or and to have better interaction with people, which actually changed her life. And then even now I'm trying it in dating or even in
Yeah,
other
it's great.
places, and which is
Yeah.
like opens a lot of doors or opens a lot of room or lets room for share and compassion, or it gets you to know the real
Definitely.
person.
Definitely. And it's so I have a friend from Switzerland who is a bit of a quirky guy, but he does one thing that I always at first I was like, you're such a weirdo, and then after like once or twice I'm like, this is actually brilliant. So he would never say, and that's in French. So you speak French too, no?
Yeah,
So instead of going salut ça va, he would say, est-ce que tu es heureux? Right,
exactly.
which is
That's one
and
of the questions.
it's so deep. Right? It's so
It's a
because you have
really
to like
loaded
think.
question, actually.
It's so loaded. It was crazy. And at first I was like, ha ha, ha ah. And then little by little, as we got to like know each other better, I was like, you know what? No, and then you just talk for a bit. It was great. It's amazing. It's so simple, right? It's like, and a lot of people would not even notice, right? So
Exactly.
it's
Yesterday I
great.
asked the
Yeah.
same question. Actually, I was at the coffee. I had a friend that I didn't meet for, I think now 5 years or so, and he was talking to me about how many stuff he did, and like I worked in real estate and did that, and I asked him at the end, but are you really happy now? That's what I asked. I want to ask you as a friend, because I knew the
Yeah.
importance of that question.
Yeah.
You can story tell your whole life or just story tell about your achievement for hours, but you often forget to sometimes just open yourself or be just you,
Mm.
or just
Yeah.
share what's going inside your mind.
Yeah, it's a super powerful question. I love it. It's one of my favorite questions now. Too. You're like, yeah, you're right. Just in conversation from time to time, just like bring it back and be like, hey, so are you though? Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, big talk. I like it. I'm gonna use that. I think it works at work as well. It's just a bit harder to do. Like it's actually really fun to do this when you get the
Actually, she
opportunity.
has she has a card game also designed for workplaces.
Where it's like not too intimate. Like, hey, boss.
And she cares. You'll find it on Instagram and on the
Yeah,
internet. There is so many examples of those questions that you can use.
yeah, very good. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. It's great. I love doing this stuff. It's really cool, and it helps you form a connection so much faster than going through half an hour of small talk and having said nothing really. It's good.
And what's your plan with your music? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, dethroning Justin Bieber.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
It's a great time to do it during confinement. People are starting to
exactly.
forget about him.
That's right. Exactly. Finally. No. So it's. I mean, I'll take it as far as I can, honestly. So it's always been my passion. So it's just extremely hard to break through the ceiling.
So what was the question, like, if you break into music, would you quit your job,
Yeah.
or
No, I would. Yeah.
is your job
You know,
just a mean to an end now for you?
it's not at all actually. It's not at all. So I spent a lot of time thinking about this. To be
Mm.
honest, it's not at all. And I just so I was very lucky with my job. Um, I did my PhD at deep brain stimulation and I met these guys, and they became a company. It was a research group, and I've joined them. And I've just been given another position where I'm basically leading another project to build another implant for another condition. That's like very creative, and it's very like life and work are just one thing rather than it's not a means to an end at all.
It's amazing,
So
actually. I'm not
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I think so. I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and it's all about like the creative output and about like creating something meaningful. And I probably can have a bigger, better impact in the company, but there's nothing more personal than your music, right? So if you can actually make it, if you can make enough money to support your living through um, your own brain, that's just crazy. Like it's just your emotions, or like who cares about my emotions, kind of thing. I think
I
it's
think,
amazing if
yeah,
you can
it's
do it.
so
It's
much
great.
empowering if you, when you arrive to that point that you become so self-confident, I think, yeah. When you earn
Yeah,
from your emotion or just opening yourself.
yeah, I think so. I think it's a. I read a book recently which I found amazing. Because I was thinking, I was talking to a friend about like what is art, and like will you ever get bored of art? Like, can you enjoy the same song for all your life, or is it just a specific point in time or stuff like that? And she gave me a Leo Tolstoy's essay written 100 years ago. What is art? I don't know if you've ever read this.
No, but you
It's
can summarize it. I would love to hear about
I
it.
well, no, it's. I mean, it's written 100 years ago, and it's all like a lot of the stuff still applies. Some he makes some predictions about the future. Some of them turn out true, some don't. But so the his main take on art is he basically rants like a pro. Like he could be a late night show host if he wasn't an old dead Russian count. But so he goes on these massive rants, and he just destroys like the popular art at the time. He goes, "This is not art. It's just like money making for the rich people to like enjoy themselves and whatever." And he basically boils it all down to the fact that art is the conveying of emotions from the artist to the observer, right? So it has to be genuine emotion. It has to be understood by the other person. If it's just you doing weird stuff and you think, well, that's kind of cool, that's first of all not an emotion, and nobody is ever going to get it. So nobody can connect with you. So it's, to him, it's like it's not a piece of art if it just serves your own purpose. The problem with that is that kind of means that in order to be an artist, you have to be successful, at least at some stage, because otherwise it means you never connect with anybody.
I don't agree with that outtake, me with art. I think like
It's a,
there is also a guy which is an economist, but he wrote The Rise of the Creative Class. His name is Richard Florida. And he
mm,
basically explains why we are shifting within this society to a more creative society, and how technology, well, like even in the 80s, he started writing that, he revisited that in the 2000s, but he predicted what's going on and how we need to find creative solutions for the social economical problem, and how individualism and how like we are trading, we are passing from the industrial era now to the cognitive or brain era, where we're gonna tap more into the creative side or the ideation side of the brain.
yeah,
And what I wanted to pass to you by that is, I genuinely think everyone is an artist. It's just like how you perceive the word. So you can make even a square and make like small graffitis, and you still an artist. It's just how to transfer that flow within the things you're actually good at.
yeah. So
So you can
so
suck
I think
at so
I
many
think the
aspects of.
artistry is the artistry is the part that you are able to convey the emotion, though, right? So it's like I agree that anyone probably could be, but you might have to find a medium where you can
Exactly,
connect. And if you don't,
exactly.
and it's like yeah, by that degree, many things can be forms of art. I guess like a good speech can be an art form. I guess if it makes people feel something, then yeah, I agree. It's
You
just
know,
I'm not sure if everyone can be like so. That the problem is that after reading this book, I was like, yes. So for me, I've always had a distinction before, even like from years and years ago. I was like, Justin Bieber is not an artist, and everyone was like, but you know, he's so successful. I was like, oh. And then I was like, so like him or not, let's use somebody else, right?
no,
But
no,
there's
but
lots of big
I
pop
was
stars
gonna
that
tell you like
the first thing
actually
is that they don't write their own songs, right?
yeah. I was gonna tell
Sorry,
you actually the music band or the music crew behind Justin Bieber is something amazing. Like when you
yeah.
see him in live performance or the people that are playing with him, I'm actually amazed. I have a problem with what he's conveying as a music and an image.
Yeah, yeah. So my problem with him and other things and other people like him is that it's not theirs. So it's there's people that write songs for him, and then I'm like, that's also not really genuine, because there's these guys that write these songs for all these big stars, and they're basically they're like, hey, I'm gonna write a song for Justin Bieber, on the theme of "Hey, baby." Right? It's like that's not even an emotion to begin with. Like, that's not even a thing, and it's not theirs. Right? It's like they're creating this for this teenager, so they're trying to like think about what it is like to be a teenager or something. And it's like there's just so many layers of just they've pushed the buttons, and Tolstoy talks about this a lot. Like there's things that our brains are made to respond to, but
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that that's a true piece of art. Like you can push buttons, you can make people angry without actually meaning any of it. For example, you can show like sad images, and or like there's some stuff that will just work, or some chord progressions that work, which is why all these songs have the same chord progressions.
Yeah,
But it doesn't mean that it's a true. It's maybe a bit too like academic a distinction, but that's my problem with these people. So I consider them entertainers, for example. I don't consider
exactly.
them
That's what I
musicians.
was gonna tell you. They convey also a message, even if the music is not theirs. I'm genuinely also like, as you told, the guy who wrote it, he's like who wrote "Hey Baby." He's not happy about the product, but he makes so much money that he doesn't
Yeah,
care anymore.
that's right.
Like, go and
That's
sing
right.
it if you for all you want.
That's right. That's right. So that's my distinction between entertainers and musicians is what I always thought about. Even when I played saxophone and stuff like that, like way back when I was like 12 and 13, I was like, there's something different between like, and there's actually like a long lasting kind of, it's, you can see it when people really start to identify deeply and kind of in like use their, um, like some companies do it really well, for example, right? Like it's the whole branding, right? So the whole, like the fact that people walk around with Harley Davidson t-shirts is crazy.
Yeah,
If you like, it's like the ultimate success, which means that somehow by building motorbikes they have managed to convey an emotion of like what it feels like, to be free, like a certain way of life, and how it feels to live like this, and
it
now
creates
people
a
put that on
culture.
t-shirts. Yeah, it's crazy.
It
Yeah,
is
it's
even
amazing.
more powerful than just creating a brand. They created culture.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it's
like
beautiful.
we were talking about now, like when you feel that you are born in a land, and now you're just like, I'm an Apple user, or
Yeah,
I'm a Nike adept, and those are for different things, or Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and it's like a war that you're not even taking part, like consciously taken a part in.
yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's like,
anyway, so that was my long one. And this is why I would still choose music over the other job, because it's like the most you that you then, it's, you can't ever share more than a piece of art. So if you manage to make a living out of your art, it's the truest form of sharing that you can have, really. It's that's my the summary.
I love it. Actually, there is within your field, like there was one problem, one brain problem within like neuropaths, and they couldn't find it for 15 years. And the guy designed a 3D version and a game version of it, and it was solved in less than 14 days by a gamer.
Oh, no way.
And
Oh,
basically,
that's
also
sick.
it's also for me, it's form of art if you can do like a 3D mapping and you allow like a big complex problem like yours, like that requires so much understanding and study behind,
Yeah,
and you simplify it to also everyone to be accessible. It's also a form of art, and you can also do it through music maybe. So why not
yeah.
combining both? And I would say,
Yeah, I think I'm a very much it's, they're very different, to me, at least the way that I approach them, they're quite different, even though maybe they're not. But so, and maybe you're right, maybe they're not that different. So I definitely do enjoy, so for example, the whole aspect of team management, and then the branding, and like the first, just the question of who you work with and what you stand for can actually ultimately convey some emotion, right? So
of
you
course,
actually, so you want your patient to trust you and be happy or whatever, which obviously these are all emotions. So it's maybe not a direct, like it's not a direct, the device itself doesn't do that, but it's like the whole aspect of it, I guess, does. Yeah, so maybe you're right, maybe I'm categorizing them too much.
I don't think like life is that hard. I think like if you especially when you touch something really important, for me is like for values of people that needs to be there is like you need to help others. So if it's like helping others, my skills and what I learned, and then you can find your sweet spot in between. Like you can even do it with music. How music for me, just like talking out of my mind, but how can
Yeah.
music help like chronic patients, or you do like I'm also gamifying everything that I find in life. Sorry, that's how my
And
brain
then you have a
works.
point system, yeah.
Exactly. You have a point system where if you get less pain, you can play some music, and you get free lessons from you. You get free guitar lesson or saxophone lessons to continue.
Let's patent this quick. Yeah, no, yeah, you're probably right. I think there's for me I actually there's a kick that I get out of like finding things out, like all that research aspect, and when you really get deep into a problem, and it has some similarities to songwriting or like or to doing this, but it's a bit of a different. It's less like deep. It's less like, and also for example, there's a thing that I love exploring the bad emotions in music.
Of course.
Like I love writing a moody song, and like, but you would never want to do that, and like you don't want to create a company that like bums everybody out. Like that's just never something you want to do,
Okay,
right?
it doesn't bump, but it can create other sentiments like scarcity, now if you're doing less of a performance, for example, on Facebook or Instagram, you get less likes, and it can encourage you to do
Yeah,
or more behavior. Or there was an app which was called Zombie Run, like it was like with the Google glasses, where when you run, you hear some zombies attacking you, they come from behind, you need to run more. So you can also induce with this kind of feelings, like with bad feelings, good behavior, which I find in some cases, of course, when it's well used, also good.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, definitely, we definitely respond, isn't it? That we value loss more than we value gain or something. So,
I
um,
think we
it,
value both equally. They need to be there both. Like, so we need to be like in a game or in life, we need to get used also to fail fast. You're doing research, so the times you fail are actually more when the time do you succeed to find a solution.
yeah, but I think your brain isn't wired for that, right? So it's you if somebody gave you $10 or you lost $10, you would be more averse to not losing 10 than to winning 10. That's
Not
the thing.
not
That's
me.
I'll send it to you.
I'm genuinely like answering that I would be happier like if I someone gave me 10 than losing.
Oh my God, really? That
I'm
you're
not
the
joking.
outlier then. You're
I
definitely an outlier.
For example, if I lost my money, I know it's because of me, I put it in my pocket, or even if it was stolen, I can never change
Ah,
that fact. But somebody that shares with me $10 or gave me, I appreciate that fact more. I'm
that's you
enjoying
know
it.
what? Like you broke the human brain. Like if everybody thought like that, we wouldn't have any problems. Like none.
But I think it's also wired within our education. It's not wired within the human. Because as we said, like when you play the first stage of Donkey Kong or whatever game, you're willing to lose 80 times, but you know you get better. Or when you play within a field football, soccer, or guitar, you know that the most time you're never getting the chords right, and you're just still persisting because you enjoy the process. But when you learn something, it was so stigmatized for us that failure is bad, or you fail at school, or you fail the test, that you don't want to go into that like creative, innovative system. Now they're proning innovation and creativity, but no, you're still stigmatized if you don't have a diploma, if you fail in life. And how can you fail in
Yeah.
life except dying?
I love it. I'm gonna use that one. That's a great one. Yeah, you haven't failed as long as yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're not being taught to fail. That's for sure.
I
Um,
think that's the biggest problem that we have is like we're designing our society with so much now comfort that you need to get in, like as we said before, inside boxes to identify to some things, and we are less letting the self or the persons be their own way or find their own path,
so
and
this
that's
being said, I
disturbing.
also hate failing. I must say, I have a really, really big problem with.
But
But
you're
it hasn't really hurt me yet. But it's like I hate, like for example, I absolutely hate not knowing something. Like
that's
if I
something
I
else.
have like this, it's
Me too,
like
but
as soon
that's
as I
something
don't know
else.
something, I will. Yeah, you think so?
Hmm. Because
So
as a you tell me I'm a researcher and a musician. Researchers and musicians, the basic fundament is failure. Researcher someone tries to find a solution, and you have like on the other side musicians to perfect a song or find the thing. It never gets perfect for once, and you fail
it's
so
true.
many times to interpret your own emotions. So that's what I'm trying.
That's definitely true. So the music part, for sure, is constant failure. It's true, and it's like there's this very weird phenomenon I think as well where it's like you'll work on a song for months, you record it, and then you're like sweet, and you go through weeks of editing, mixing, and you're like, mm, this is tight. And then you put it online, you listen to it the next morning, like, oh my god, this is ear garbage.
Exactly,
No one's
literally.
ever gonna like this. Like the next day, you just spend 6 months thinking, like, this is it. This is top stuff.
That's so bad
Horrible.
sometimes. I know the feeling.
Horrible. Oh my god. Yeah,
Sometimes
it's tough.
while also writing articles, I start writing, yeah, this is the article that's gonna stand out of from all the others. You finish writing, Control A, delete. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. And listen, yeah, it's really weird. It's very strange. It's also and speaking of the other thing, this is like it's you're just making me realize a whole bunch of really dumb things that I do. So, for example, it's very self-reinforcing as well, right? So the one of the songs that had like the most success from the ones that we had like on Spotify, etc., which is still like just racking up. It's just kind of in the background. Like people are, it's 3 years old and people are still listening to it on a daily basis. And you're like, ah, cool. So they obviously liked it, right? Every time I listen to it, knowing this, I'm like, yeah, it's not a bad song. But I know that there are other songs that I actually preferred myself, right? Where I'm like, this is really like, this is the song, so much emotion. I love it. Like I can still feel it, But not knowing that nobody connected with it, I'm like, maybe not that great. It's very strange.
That's another strange thing, yeah, for musicians because you or artists in general because you never know what's people are gonna like, and then you hit the weird spot where you find what people are going to like, and you start what also I wanna talk, and I think it takes time to find like that, as you said, that sweet spot where I can
Yeah.
share myself and still connect with my audience. And I think it's just like a matter of time. People sometimes
Yeah.
get lucky to understand it fast, but most of us like it takes quite a while.
Anything? There's too much responsibility.
Just sit there, just sit there.
Yeah, just wait. Sorry, we got interrupted rudely by
Yeah,
internet.
yeah. I don't know why
Um,
actually. Man, this
so
internet provider is gonna like sometimes break my nerves. I told you.
they they do that. They're very good at that. Also, is a form of emotion, but they should never attempt to do that. I don't want any emotion from an internet provider. I just want them.
I want something to be automatized. I don't want any interaction with any customer service of theirs. As others are enjoyable, like or you talk with Amazon, yeah, we'll find you a solution. It's okay, big corporation, but thank God, like there is companies that are professional. But with those internet providers, like they're trying to make your life purposely harder.
Yeah, we were out of internet for like a solid month. We had like 3 guys go and look at our wires, and they were like, yeah, we can't find the problem. One of them was like, I think it's on the roof. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Why would there be a problem on the roof? It took like months and months and months. I was like,
What
there's,
did you learn
and,
when you stayed without internet at home for a month?
oh, it was just all through data, like all
Oh
through
yeah.
phone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I didn't. I can't go off the grid. It's so bad.
Why?
It's yeah. I just, but to be honest, it's not like I don't feel the urge to either. Like I love being connected actually. Like I don't. It doesn't give me stress actually. It's nice to be disconnected when you go on a holiday and you just take it all in, but it doesn't really stress me out in the sense of where yeah.
me,
Maybe
I
I'm
just
wrong. Maybe I should. But
I just took it as an experiment. I wanted to see what would happen if I'm like off internet, and my
for
work
how
and
long?
my life is based on the internet, and what can I do with that other part of my time? And what changed a lot is like I went a lot more out. I met a lot of people in real persons. My interactions changed.
How so?
So I focused more on like instead of always being now sending emails or working with the internet or having like messages and DMing, it was more like I call, let's meet, let's do something, let's play, let's jam, let's
Yeah.
whatever. And I
Yeah.
was more inclined to do like other activities, which
Mm.
actually was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I definitely try and do that. It's more effort though. Like I see why a lot of people would struggle with it, but I try and make an effort of doing that on a regular basis anyway. Also because I just like after some, like at some stage texting just sucks.
Yeah.
So the one thing as well that it's the same guy who always asks me, are you happy? It's Gerrit. He also never texts. He always calls. And he'd hardly respond to a text as well. He would just call you, and if you can't pick up, then he'll just call you some later time. And this guy just figured it all out like when he was 20. Like this guy really hit it all. He hit it all in lockdown. Like it's really good. Like, and so I'm trying to do that more and more as well, where rather than having weird text conversations where you send a message and then you wait for a day for somebody to say something, and it's
Exactly. The
weird.
problem, you wait for a day and you send sometimes
Yeah,
the wrong emoticon that can ruin the whole experience. And then sometimes we get into ghosting town and it's
yeah.
so weird.
Yeah. So I do appreciate a call now. I used to hate them as well.
Me too, actually.
I used to hate calling, and I love it now. It's great. You just when you walk to the bus or anything, really, it's good. But yeah, off
Uh,
the grid, I don't know.
and
So
that
did you
month
stop
also,
working as well for the time when you were off the grid, or did you work still and then just cut yourself off?
I was working at a place, not freelancing at that time.
Okay.
So I just
So
had to
you
go.
work.
Yeah, I just had to go and edit and do stuff. And that period,
Okay.
I was more like not even answering emails, but I knew what I have to do. I had a drive with all the tasks
Yeah.
and everything that's delegated. I had it also in a drive, so I
Okay.
didn't have to be connected. Check nothing.
That's right. So you had your hard drive with you instead of the internet.
No,
That's super awesome.
I just worked also that time only when I was at the office, and that's something
So
that I do like
yeah,
really rarely. In
yeah, me too.
general, I'm always joinable.
Yeah, me too. So what did you think of that? So how do you like your job though? Or is it, do
Now,
you feel the need to separate? Yeah.
now I like pretty much what I'm doing all over around. So I wake up, there is some coaching, we do some formations. Uh, I'm working in freelance, so it's every time I have like either a marketing plan, a business plan, or to design some content or to edit videos. Or now also I'm learning to develop on Java and Python. So it's pretty much I'm fulfilled, and it's serving also my own path because I'm creating a platform that is uh, that is helping to monetize creative artistic collaborations via blockchain, so to say, in simple words.
Well, that's using all of the stuff that came out in the last 2 years at the same time.
Not, I would say, 2 years, but it's basically blockchain allows you to protect the IP, the intellectual property of the music. It allows you now to, with smart contracts, to ensure that every party is paid fairly. And it's also like a way to, because with what's happening with YouTube and Spotify, you need 1 million views or clicks, but you don't know actually what they make for that money. And you get paid cents for what they make them. And I wanted like a transparent system where it's incentivized within game, like with gamification, where people help each other, building like a track all over the world, and everyone gets paid of it like fairly at the same part of level.
So did you build the infrastructure?
I built everything behind business wise, then I started pitching it, then I got some funding, but I
Nice.
didn't like the equity amount of equity they're going to take. And then
Yeah.
I realized instead of paying $80,000 to a developer, I realized I can learn it on my own. So now I'm learning to develop it by myself.
Nice. Wow, that's excellent. That's awesome. Yeah,
I'm more
that's
focused on
cool.
making money. I have like I told myself I have my money margin of failure. Can even build another thing on the side, but
Yeah,
that's gonna be my baby. I want my
that's
vision
awesome.
to be also mine, always mine, this kind of things.
That's really good. So, is there anything that that I can read or look at, or is it all secrets for
No,
now?
no, I'll show you. I'll show you stuff. I'll send you
Yeah.
some stuff, and I'll also show you that, like we did, tried it with music, where we started with a beat from a friend, US friend. Then I passed it over 30 artists where they worked upon it, and became like somehow sometimes a house music, and sometimes an
Yeah.
ambient music, and sometimes psytrance, and some rockers went with guitars on it, where it
Nice.
went in so many ways. I was actually planning on making one track and passing it from an artist to another, but you need a producer to always be on top of that process. So I left everyone
Yeah.
free to make whatever they want. And I'm doing a
Yeah.
what they called on the side now also cadaver exquisite all over the world. Cadaver exquisite, where like you write 3 pages, then you pass it to another person who writes 3 pages, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
gonna be a story like that.
So, have you ever read one from start to finish? Like, who
Yeah.
decides when it's done?
Huh?
Who decides when it's done?
No
It's
one.
just at some stage somebody's like, "That's it.
Exactly. If
I do
somebody
that."
wanna end the story again,
Oh man, that sounds like a wild ride.
exactly. And
Yeah.
this kind of things, like the advantage with blockchain, I want to do it as an auction. For example, if an artist or a digital artist comes and he want to list like his song for €1 and sell it as an album, or 110,000 and sell it as just one piece, collectible piece, is his choice. But
Mm.
the idea would be like to cut the cost maximum for people who want to collaborate. And then when you pass within blockchain, also one of the perks is when you pass time on the app or you do perform actions, you get points. And those points are tokens, which are actual real money. So you can just by spending time either buy new gear or take lessons from the app, or just retrieve some money if you need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Cool. Yeah. Well. So, what's your timeline on this?
on
Like, it
the app
sounds like
running
you.
out one and a
Yeah.
half years, on it being commercialized. It's first quarter. I'm doing what is called micro marketing, with testing it in one small market, like a art school or something like that. Then we're
Mm.
starting to go on zigzag. Zigzag would be collecting data and selling some data to increase our capital and see how the users behave on different markets. And then we're gonna attack it with some marquee, like marquee means like we're gonna attack some not influencer but big artists or musician, get one or two on board, and then try to go public.
Yeah. Well, nice. It's awesome.
But
That's
until
going to
now
be a
I'm doing
really
it just
wild ride.
as I told you, a side project that I'm really having fun with all the
Yeah.
people or artists I met around the world. I'm trying to do some stuff or to
Yeah.
build
It's really
this
cool.
community,
Yeah.
but
It's
I'm
cool. Yeah.
taking my
It's
time.
it's a very yeah. It's good. You're creating something. It's really good. Like you actually yeah. It's awesome. That's exactly what it sounds like. The good thing is that it's a thing where you're going to create something that people are going to like, plus you can actually monetize it. So
Exactly. It's what we told
it's
before. What I'm
yeah,
good at since I was young is helping, not helping others, but understanding creatives and helping them make money. I'm good also at
yeah,
business-wise creating this creative process, and I'm a margin also. I like to create something against the system, so to say, something like quite clear and
yeah.
that's fair.
I love it. Yeah,
So I hit
yeah.
my sweet
Fairness is the
spot
best
within
market.
this project. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And you're gonna learn so many skills. It's like if you're gonna code all this by yourself, you're gonna be like on top of your game at the end of it.
That's it. I started knowing some stuff about business, ended up like then taking digital marketing to build it, then started
Mm.
learning, I need to learn Photoshop in order to do some stuff. Then I need to learn Premiere Pro, then
Yeah,
I need to buy a camera. Then while with artists, you are with artists, oh, why not learn beat making? Oh, there is a rapper, why not learn to make a rap song? Why not
yeah,
pick up guitar again? And everything
yeah,
started this way. You're totally right. When you're into that's why I told you, when you're into that state of flow, when where I'm actually doing so many stuff, but I'm not investing, like I'm not using 100% of my energy every day. I'm using
Yeah.
60, but I'm not taking, for example, days off because I like so much what I'm doing. I'm willing to
Yeah.
do it on weekends. And when
Yeah.
I'm doing that, I'm gaining more even hours and days and skills when you compare it to yourself to other after 2 years, because
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
always into that stuff. You don't have like ups and downs. You're
So
consistent.
the weird thing is that to do this, you need to have some sort of, um, like some sort of drive or some sort of goal, I guess, right? It's there's so many people out there who don't have that, and it's just I'm like, how do you do this? Like, it's crazy. So I'm not sure if I'm more impressed by people that work on the weekend on something that they like, or if I'm more impressed by people that actually manage to systematically go to work every day of the week and something they don't like. I'm like, I don't
I
know. This
can't
sounds more painful to me.
exactly. I can't understand. I'm willing to downgrade my life so much, like to quit having a laptop, to quit having everything, and do something that I like, than going into something I don't like every day. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I tried
yeah,
when I
it's
was
I
young.
agree. Yeah,
I tried when I was younger. I worked at Burger King, I think, for 10 days. And then I just quit and I didn't ask them even to get paid. No,
yeah,
thank you.
nice.
It was a shitty experience. I wanted to see what's behind.
Yeah, let's not do that again. Thank you. No, no more
Exactly. Thank
burgers.
you. Boring
Yeah,
robot work. I'm sure a
yeah,
robot will take their job
that's
soon
it.
enough. So let's do something else
Which strangely actually hasn't happened yet.
because of costs.
Do you
Because
think
of
it's more
costs,
expensive
and
to build a robot?
no, you have two things. You have costs. So because the costs are too low of their salaries, and second thing, to enter countries in general, they need to have some employability rate because they are big multi-billionaire corporation.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So they need to make that aspect that. But basically, the guy, when you work at Burger King, you have a bun, you put it into a
Yeah.
toaster. The meat, like it's freeze frozen, it goes also into a machine, and you're just there to
Oh,
make it presentable.
oh God. And even that's often not really successful.
Exactly. You're
Which is,
not liking your job, so basically you're making a shitty burger at
I've,
everything.
I've managed to always avoid doing this. I think the most menial job I've had was data entry, which is like the computer equivalent of burger flipping. It's,
Yeah,
it's, it's having a data set on a piece of paper. It's like a scanner, basically.
I know.
I was a human scanner for a while, but I was, to be honest, I was like, I don't know, like 14. I didn't really care. Like it was
That's what
cool.
I
Like I
told
was
you.
like, oh my
I
god,
wanted
money, amazing.
I wanted to try it just to see, like, everyone was telling me I worked at McDonald's, where I wanted to see that boring, repetitive job,
Yeah,
how it would affect me or affect my brain. Or like, for example, I will try to take it as a meditation, making 100 burgers in 15 minutes or something
yeah,
is challenging, and you don't need to think, you just need to act. And I
yeah.
wanted to see, like, under this kind of condition where also it's a high flow of work, how would I react? It was more about discovering myself because I could go on the internet and find any other job.
So what did you discover then? Did you not like any aspect of it? Did you
Yeah.
like was the whole shutting off that's I guess not really
Not at
acceptable?
all, because it's boring, repetitive. The how the company is built, the culture is so bad. So it's like
Mm.
slavery of modern times. The ingredient in what you see, like it's cooked behind, like it's pretty disgusting. So
Yeah.
no, that industry, not again. I'm not, when I quit there, now I ate sometimes, but I'm not eating fast foods anymore. Even for
Oh really?
burgers, I go for local people that are
Yeah.
doing, and I prefer to pay 20-30 bucks for a burger and have an experience than going and having that shitty thing.
So I hardly ever go to the big chains, but there's one big exception. When I'm on a road trip, it's like it's part of the deal.
The day I said,
When you're 10 hours on the road, it's like all I want is Macca's. I just want to, the
it's, it's,
classic.
it's like I wanna. It's like the How I Met Your Mother. I wanna. You have a song, or you have a food, or you have like a test. It's part
Yeah,
of the experience.
it's part of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's good. So we just came back from up the coast, from Barron, which is like a 9.5 hour drive, and it's like
Wow.
it's time for Macca's. There's no other option here. It needs to be McDonald's on the highway as well. You're not even like in a town. It's just like right on the highway. And it's
What did
weirdly
you take?
satisfying as well. Or like some Angus burger with some fries. I didn't go nuts. It was just like a regular, but it was so satisfying. It was
Me,
like
I'm like,
the
I'm kind
taste
of
of
like,
road tripping.
I'm also like slim, but I have like when I go there, I know also I'm spending a lot of money. Like I start stacking. We had one when I was back in Düsseldorf, me and my friend, we called it like trash night. Trash night where was everything is on the table. So we put fast food on a bigger scale. And
Nice.
you have these apps where you have like a $1, even like every burger for $1, or the big ones for deals, and we put like around 60 burgers or 50 burgers, a whole
Oh.
mountain, and just like let's sit down and have that night.
Sometimes it's awesome. Like I actually think that they shouldn't, because they would lose all their thing. But there's a part of me that would love to know what would happen if McDonald's would advertise itself as that, and just be like, instead of pretending to be healthy now, they should just go like, you know what? Sometimes you want it.
I would love it.
I would love it. Yeah, it would probably make me go there.
I think now that you see Burger King, for example, advertising 100 bio ingredients. Now they're changing to that like healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I think if they stuck, is as you said, we're that brand that makes shitty burgers, and we're totally fine about it,
Yeah.
and you know us for it.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing. I would love it. So if there was one chain that would do it and the other one not, I would totally go to the one that's not, that just doesn't even
Me too.
pretend. Yeah, I would totally do that.
Authenticity overall, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably never gonna happen, but so if it's one of those things,
It's gonna be a
unfortunately.
meme on the internet, or you can find a YouTube video that's making fun of that for sure. But I don't think, yeah, they would
Yeah,
risk a
it
marketing
would be
guy would
great.
risk that.
It would be great if they did this in a small country with like 2 shops. It doesn't matter, or like in one city, to see what happens, like as a case study. It would be amazing. I reckon they would have. It would be viral. Actually, it would actually go viral for you.
Let's try sending emails now to when we finish to McDonald's and Burger King,
Like,
CC,
this
yeah,
is
agree
my
upon
idea.
that.
Yeah, marketing genius. But yeah,
Do you have any music coming on?
I have. Yeah. So COVID slowed things down a bit, as because we couldn't go back to the studio, which is a bit
Hmm?
annoying. But so we recorded, or we started recording 5 tracks, and we released a couple of months ago the first one, Cities Rise and Empires Fall. So we have 4 tracks that are basically this close to completion, but we just have to actually get back to the studio and do it. We just have to like
And
sit down with the mix
did
engineer
they
and
tell
everything.
you when they're going to reopen?
So the studio, not really at the moment, but my sound engineer set up his own little studio at his house. He just moved places, so I went there last weekend to record some guitars. And I do have the other problem that all my stuff is in London, and I am not. So I have to borrow
You told me
everything.
actually. Yeah, you told me when
Yeah,
you talked
I
about
have to.
the microphone.
So yeah, so yeah, I have to borrow everything. So I borrowed a guitar from a friend, and then I drove to the sound engineer, and then we used his amp, and then we rigged everything up onto the mixer. So, but it'll happen. It'll happen. So my goal was actually to release a song every month for 6 months. So that's 6 songs, right? And we're like hopelessly late in doing this. But I hope that at some stage we'll get back to like completing a few in a row and then just releasing them one after another.
But
Um,
it's like allowing yourself also to fail, as we told before. You didn't succeed this time in one song in 6 months. Maybe raise the bar a bit higher. Well,
every three
that
months.
exactly.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, one song every 3 months, and I'll try optimizing the system that didn't work. Because now also you had like really difficult parameters. You got the God hard mode when you got COVID and you couldn't travel,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So it's all about, so there's we have a little side project. My keyboard player is a bit of a genius on everything. So he started doing his own remixes of our songs. And between you and me, they're brilliant. They're amazing. Like this guy is an absolute wizard with any, like, it's just unbelievable. The thing he can do with samples is ridiculous. He texted me one night and he said, "This is you if your life was Game of Thrones." And I was like, whoa, that doesn't even make sense. And I listened to it. It was like a full orchestral version of one of our songs. So he had just taken the vocals and he had built this like orchestral piece with a
behind it.
50-piece choir in the background, like just ridiculous, absolutely amazing. So the side project is to get him to finish these remixes and publish them in parallel at the same time. And there, definitely the whole thing about allowing yourself to fail is a big thing, because he is not letting go of them. Like, to me, they're done. And he's like, no, I need to tweak this. I need to do this. And he's just like not ready. Like, mentally, he's not ready to do it. And some of them are just absolutely amazing.
It's like with the now podcast or something. You don't need to edit or nothing. Just upload it as it is. People will
Yeah.
figure it out. Like you can make always the best music and thing, but now the best songs that were actually popping in the COVID were the songs that are recorded freestyle, just like in a room, low
Yeah.
budget,
Yeah.
just a mic, and people are having fun. I
Yeah.
think
There's
people now
lots of bands that did it too.
yeah, but people are focused more now on the volume of content. So they are expecting so much more of an artist as it used to be. Maybe not the best quality always, but also like to have a consistency to hear a lot of his song. And it takes time now within all this competition and crowd to get your own voice.
Yeah, you're right. And the constant, like the release frequency is definitely a massive factor, like big time.
Mm.
And that's what Spotify, like they even say it, right? Like that's one of their markers to get you on playlists is how active are you on Spotify? And you're like, come on, guys. Like,
Leave me some
oh
room.
my
I
god.
want to rest.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't actually hide it, which, so yeah, how to trigger the algorithm is as a data person, you'll appreciate this, but this is like, it's like the biggest mystery is how do you get on these Spotify playlists? And I haven't understood how. Sometimes it's the latest thing that happened is our song that we published last year um, got picked up 3 months ago by the Discover Weekly playlist, and this is actually against the whole algorithm thing, right? It's like way
No,
too late.
no,
It's
there is nothing as too late. Actually, so you should be more into data. Like within data processing, they listen to preferences, genres, people, and they try like by small. They release your song by even 2 3 views, for example, even in Tunisia, and they see if people respond well, and
yeah,
they'll pop it off again after 3 months because it's summary. Your sound is summary like so. Their
yeah,
algorithm actually categorize songs on so many different criteria and it may be it's like an article, it's a piece of art, as I told you. It can be after 7 months, it hits the sweet spot in some market. And then when it
right,
hits the
yeah,
sweet
yeah,
spot, it's like cooked again. Also, they bring it back to Australia. Ah, it's an Australian artist with that many views. Or then they
yeah,
realize you're from London. He has a London accent. Yeah, let's try like sending it more in London. Maybe it has an impact because he comes from there. So
yeah,
that's how it goes. It's like test and
yeah,
repeat.
fair enough, yeah, yeah.
But I don't think if where you do you publish your music only on Spotify?
No, it's we use one of these aggregators. We use CD Baby, so it goes on. It goes on kind of everything, but it's just Spotify has been the one that really stuck, I think. So we've that's where all the plays come from by like a large margin. So the like Apple Music is almost irrelevant compared to Spotify for us.
No, I was telling you like in the meaning also like maybe share some like acoustic versions on YouTube, maybe search some
Mm.
demo version on Instagram. So it's more like a branding wise where you get small segments to get people also to go on Spotify. Because
Yeah, yeah,
when I go
yeah.
on your I don't hear a lot of your content on other places. I need also to go to specific platforms, which
Yeah,
is which is a hurdle sometimes for the newcomers and new listeners.
yeah. It's true. No, you're right. That's good. It's good. I have actually thought about this, and then I got really lazy. So
I know the
you're
feeling.
totally right. This I failed. There you go. I allowed myself to fail on recognizing this, and yeah, that's no. You're totally right. Absolutely. We did we did a, and it's this is the perfection thing as well that kind of gets you there. It's like then you just have to upload some stuff. when you feel like it, basically, rather
You
than
just put your phone, you record, or you just
yeah,
put
yeah,
a
yeah.
mic and you record, and that's it.
Mm. It's
Like when you practice already. If you told me since you were young, people are seeing what they are willing to see is like the level of skill or what you're sharing with them. And as I told you, on those platforms, especially, like most of the people are filming with just a phone and talking.
yeah,
I know
that's
with
true.
music you need to make the quality, sound quality more, but does it really matter that the picture is in 4K if they're
No.
hearing you just fine?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. No, you're right. No, you're right. There's definitely what's that saying? You'll know. It's like perfection is the enemy of the good or something like that, right? Where
You need to, you need,
whatever that.
yeah, but within work you have like different profiles. You have like people that have really attention to detail, and if you are telling me that you and your keyboard guy are different that attention to detail, find another guy that's more action based, who was
Yeah,
willing just to release or to record you with a camera and release. You need
yeah.
somebody like that because you have both the different profile now, the same profile.
So, so Matt, who's our drummer, he is that guy. And if he listened to you right now, he would be like, "I told you so," for so many years.
You
He's
need to
been, yeah, yeah.
let Mike the Matt take the action,
Matt's, yeah, that's right.
execute
I
on
need to
that.
let, yeah, that's right. I need to let Matt drive the thing from time to time. Yeah, that's good. I'll let him know. I'll show him the clip when when you put this up.
I'm gonna put
He's
this
gonna
up later. You know? Just like
I,
I'll finish and upload it.
excellent. So there you go. I'll show him, and he'll be like, "There you go, recognition, finally." After all this
Finally,
time.
after years of getting shut down.
Yeah, he's gonna get all the old videos back and put them like one every day.
I hope so. It
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him. You watch the space. But it is really hard, actually. It is actually quite hard for me to do this. Or like when I know it's not perfect, I'm like, it's a weird thing. You
Will it
understand?
ever be perfect?
Maybe. No, it won't be. It won't be. No, I know what you mean. But it's a really hard thing to do. I find it really hard to do because it's so
Is
personal.
your favorite song and clips perfect? No.
Hmm. So I think you know what the thing. It's much easier to do a cover that's not perfect than when it's your own creation. I don't know if you feel the same way, but when it's your own that you've written yourself, you kind of want to convey. You want to make sure that what you try to convey it works. Whereas if it's a cover, you're like, well, I didn't write this song, so I don't really care.
Depends on my level of love for the artist or for the song, because there is some songs until now, or maybe some writers until now, I know I can't arrive to that level of what they wrote. It's also
Yeah,
maybe an imposter syndrome, but that I'm trying also sometimes to make the best version of that song. But then I may be
so
wrong as well.
so is there but surely from time to time you're like not good enough, not going online, right? Surely you stop yourself
As I told you, I
mid
do a lot of Control A delete, huh?
yeah,
Even when I write.
yeah. So yeah, fair enough. So do you what's your main artistic outlet then? Is it the writing more or is it music more or is it
I like music and I like writing, and now I'm getting a lot into cinematography. I'm getting a
oh, okay,
lot
cool.
for doing short movies and things like that. And I have
And you're a
ideas
pro
of
in that,
scripts
right?
that I want to get out of my brain, and I'm gonna get them out of my brain.
Nice. That's epic. That's a lot of work too. A lot of work, but really fun. That's
I
really
think
fun
also
work.
of using the like short movies or like doing YouTube even series, but about gamification and self-development. So how to create maybe an interactive game on YouTube where people can improve themselves. And we have this idea with my co-founder since a long time, and we're gonna try to work on it. Him from Italy and me from Tunisia, where it's two different characters and you have life choices and things like that.
Excellent. Yeah,
So
man.
everything is for me interconnected in my brain, but it's quite difficult also to always describe everything. But for me,
Yeah,
art is like a medium. I'm trying to see what's my best medium. I'm never close to try something new. And until I think try everything, I can't say what's my best.
So you know that that this is probably the last deep thought I'm gonna have, because my brain's gonna start giving in. But so I had a realization maybe like not very long ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. So like in my late 20s, I realized that my brain categorizes things a lot, and that it took, and I don't know if that's by education or by just, I don't know, but I only realized very late that the boundaries between things are not as um, clear as I always thought they were. And the whole like it being boxed in is something that I only kind of started to get out of like surprisingly late in my life.
Me too.
and and one weird example, but it's like it's not just like these words mean, like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I get it, but I think, or you know, like, or he's just saying think outside the box, but that's not actually, it's like it's like a feeling, right? When suddenly I'm like, oh wait, you know, this is actually, this box is meaningless. It doesn't actually, it's not actually a thing. It's just there's no boundary here. Actually, it could be here or here. It doesn't matter. It's like I can't really explain it. But I had this like multiple times over like a 3 year period where like a lot of like boxes that I had from my childhood on just kind of disappeared, and it suddenly just like went away. And I think it's about um, it's when you learn the next level up of things. I think, right? It's like you have a lot of stuff that you have to learn, and once you understand this, you kind of get to the next level, and there's a next level of abstraction, and then all these are just tools. But then
Ex-
there's all these these new things you have to learn, and then you get to the next level of abstraction. And when you learn this, you know that these boxes you had originally, they don't actually matter. They all just, that you can mix them up and do whatever you want, but you have to like get a few levels up to be able to see
It's
this.
like you
It's
learn
like,
to the expertise level. That expertise level allow you to, sometimes to forget about the foundation that you
yeah,
were supposed to be in. So you can mix and match, and then you can even incorporate other parts of other fields that you
yeah,
are good at or learning or
yeah,
thinking about.
that's right. Yeah, and I think that's really what you want to reach more or less everywhere. I think this is, if you actually want to innovate in any field, you basically have to get to that level, right? Because you
Exactly.
have to almost borrow from other fields in order to innovate. You can't. There's there's nothing that's that easy anymore. Like,
And you're totally right. You need to take from something that is existent. Innovation doesn't come from nothing. It comes from something
mm,
existent. So don't always think that I need to find a new solution. No, maybe I need to find something that was applied in another field and try to make it my own in this
yeah,
kind of case or problem that I'm
yeah,
facing.
yeah, yeah, or even just yeah, for sure. And I think it's also like the whole. So there's two pet peeves. So sorry, the first thought from before. The one thing that the one place where I realized this, or where I started applying this, was actually in music, where I actually realized that the box was really useful though at the beginning. So I boxed my early songs in like a folk rock sound,
Mm.
and so, and it actually, it was restricting but super useful, because it allowed me to, when you have the box, you have a self-imposed kind of limit of the tools that you're going to use, and then you can focus on writing a good song with that. If you use everything,
You
it's
can't.
too much. Your brain just, it's impossible, right? So so I had to like learn how to write songs first, and it was actually a really useful thing to be boxed in for a while. And only once you're like, once you've understand more or less how to write a song, and once you've learned a few just rules, I guess, about how to write a song, then you can start branching out left and right, and like pick from here and pick from there. And this was from the previous thought. And the next thought over is the problem with innovation, borrowing from other fields. My newest pet peeve from a couple of months ago is people saying, oh, but this is not my job. I hate that. I was like, well, it is your job, because clearly you have this problem,
That
and
you're
you're
facing.
telling me that you can't do this because it's not your job. No, it's your problem. So that means it is your job. So solve it. This is like,
And
this
jobs
is exactly
aren't
that.
now new jobs, basically, all basic around that. You need to adapt and learn fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And it's ultimately the the box of a role, like I'm a mechanical engineer or I'm a software engineer or I'm a blah blah blah, they're not, they're the silly boxes, right? It's like ultimately it's, I have this thing I want to do and I need to learn all these tools and then I need to build it, and then you, that's it, and it's all just tools.
But
And
as you
ultimately
said,
you need to learn all of them.
exactly, and you touched something about teaching. For me, like gamification also, and we need to make teaching and education more fun. Like it's important for experts to find cool ways to pass their message or to pass their views. Like we're getting into a sense where sometimes people are overcomplicating things, where experts start to complicate things so much or demonize or have somehow the information.
But I so I have a very very strong, so I've done a lot of that, like teaching and a lot of um also part of the job, like dissemination of like the research that we've done in the company and the reason why we think our device is better, obviously. But ultimately, the main truth, which applies to all of it, is that if you can't explain it in a simple way, then you didn't understand it. And
Exactly.
so all these people that can't give you a straight answer, when you ask them why is that the case, and they start like they use a whole bunch of complicated words, that means they don't get it. And this is, I've never found, it's maybe slightly oversimplified, but I think that it's only about, you only need the complicated words when you get into the details. So it depends on who asks the question, but you should be able to answer what is this to any background level in a
Exactly.
simple way. If you can't do it, you don't get it. It means
You
that
need
you're
to
missing
understand
the,
the context you're
yeah,
or conveying your message to. Like sometimes you need to simplify the message. Sometimes when you talk with an expert, you can allow yourself to discuss even the boundaries or the problematics or whatever.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So for, yeah, it's like a pyramid thing. It's like you have to talk to all these people at the bottom, and they, the only thing that's in common is the one thing at the top. So if somebody over here asks you, that's the only thing you can say, and that's fine. If it's two guys in the same department, they can talk about other stuff. It's like, yeah, it's fascinating how many people don't know this stuff. And it's, you can, and you can, this is when you interview people, that's how you spot the guys who don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's, the more complicated words they use, the less they know what they're talking about.
It's sometimes
Like, I
it's
don't
all
know.
about mindset more even about like when you interview or we talked about also in Tunisian, I did some podcast with interviewers where they're all saying the same thing. Most of the time, we're not even interested about the CV. We're just seeing how the person fits or what he thinks or how he conveys
Yeah,
messages.
yeah. You need the basic skill set, and the rest is the best questions. I always describe the project, and then all that you did at uni or whatever. And if they go with, well, I wrote this code and then I found this loop and I made it really efficient, and you're like, you haven't told me what the goal was. Like, I don't know what you did.
You didn't answer
You
my
wrote some
question.
code is all I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what you did. It's really fascinating. It's, but it's actually not that, it's a bit mean speaking of it like this, but because it's, you have to real, I think you have to explain stuff to people. If you're not used to it, you don't, it's hard to, or it's easy to forget what it feels like not to know, right? Like when you're tutoring, you have to remember, oh, last year when I learned this, I had no clue what was going on. And
Of course,
then you have to remember,
we're doing
sorry,
some transformation in soft skills, so I understand perfectly that people are like with emotional intelligence or with communication or with business, with marketing, public speaking. Yeah, of course, I understand that people are lacking, but I don't understand when someone is dishonest. And
yeah,
even when this happens, I would try to point at that behavior as you said, but you didn't answer my question. In other words, you gave him another chance and you told him, I want an answer to this question. You didn't attack him like, I reject you, okay, listen to your answer and I don't care about it anymore. So you gave him a second chance and you pointed to behavior. But if someone keeps being dishonest, you can't also doesn't want to be helped, can do nothing about it.
yeah, yeah, that's right. And I think that's the hard, but probably the hardest thing, like to, I have to hire a whole bunch of people now, and one of my fears is to hire a dick.
it's it's like Gary.
Horrible.
No, but it's like Gary V says, it's okay to trust or to hire fast, But what's important is learn to fire faster, and that's it.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah, you're probably right. It's yeah. I mean, you
From an
obviously want to
interview, you
avoid
can't
the.
cern everybody. You can't, like, even a analyst can say for sure, like, I met this guy in one session, I know him. It takes
True.
time.
Yeah,
So
that's
how
true.
about to say about us? Like, we're hiring people and from a CV and one interaction, more or less.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you just gotta be alright too. You gotta let yourself fail, I guess.
Again and again,
Try and
exactly.
again. That's right. Until you get it right. Nice, excellent, cool. I'm gonna have to jump off soon.
Me too.
It's
I
getting late.
was gonna tell you, like, I'm going to cook. Since I came back,
Very good.
I didn't see my mother for so long. I'm trying to make her happy again by cooking for her sometimes.
Nice, massive brownie points.
Exactly.
Very
I
good.
gain reward points and badges.
Yeah, gamification. That's right. Level up.
Lifestyle game.
Excellent. Well, it was really good to talk to you, though.
It was
I
amazing
really
to
enjoyed
get to
it.
know you as well, man.
It's really
I'll
cool.
be waiting for the next songs and the videos, and if you can send me one or two links so I can share them. When I share on
Yeah,
social
absolutely.
media, I share the music, your music as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely will do. If you
And
ever
you
want to
can
chat
change,
again,
you can choose also the song that you like the
the ones
most.
that I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wait until the next one. I'll send you a happy and a sad one. So we get
Okay.
both emotion. We get the emotional spread.
But even now, when I share the podcast, just send me a couple ones that you like
Yeah,
so I can share them
will
with
do.
you.
Excellent.
Have a
Thanks, mate.
great day then, man.
I'll talk to you
And
soon.
hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be cool to chat again. Have a good one.
Ciao.
Bye bye.